Welcome back to your latest aviation news recap. I do apologize for no video going live yesterday. Man flu has hit me like an absolute freight train. Today there is coverage on aircraft being sold to a major US airline. Coverage on United Airlines. Focus also shifts towards Spirit, who are cancelling flights, and an expansion of a major carrier. Really, this is a North American focused episode, beginning off the bat with Alaska Airlines announcing that it has agreed to sell 10 Airbus A321neos to American Airlines. Primarily known, I would say, as the worst kept secret, the confirmation came as Alaska Airlines reported its third quarter results. Alaska Airlines says the aircraft sales began in the fourth quarter of 2023 as part of this agreement. Alaska Airlines, you may recall, said goodbye to its A321neo in the last few weeks, operating as ASA 1126 and flown by N921VA. The last flight flew from Seattle to Los Angeles, a flight that ended Alaska's reliance on any Airbus-produced plane. Retiring Airbus aircraft has, though, been a long time in the making, being announced initially during the height of the global pandemic. Alaska quoted at that point its goal to remove all Airbus planes, including A320s and A321s, from its fleet by the end of 2023. As a result, it would move forward with Boeing. An acquisition and merger with Virgin America is really what resulted in Alaska taking on board Virgin's Airbus-powered aircraft. Otherwise, it wouldn't fly your A320s or even A321s at all. However, of course, flying these European planes never really seemed to align with the direction that Alaska wished to head. A removal was viewed as part of an important stage in the fleet simplification process. American Airlines acquiring 10 A321neos, which are relatively new from Alaska Airlines, to many hardly comes as a shock. The major US carrier does rely heavily on the A321 program for its domestic operations, and the company already flies 70 A321neos alongside 217 of the A321-200s, that being the CO variant. Looking ahead for Alaska Airlines, while they're going to be heavily relying on the Boeing 737 series moving forward, as they do say goodbye to Airbus and hello to Boeing, and only Boeing. It's been a busy few days at Spirit, who have announced the cancellation of some flights following urgent inspections required. Spirit Airlines says up to 25 of its aircraft require a necessary inspection, with the focus being placed on a small area of each respective plane. The US low-cost carrier has largely kept quiet over the reasoning behind the inspection and the ultimate timeline for a fix. However, Spirit has definitely reiterated on numerous occasions now that its primary focus will be to ensure the safety of all its passengers, and thus it is taking the necessary precautions to make sure these planes are safe to re-enter back into service. Additionally, the company really wants to ensure that passengers that are being impacted by the schedule adjustments have as minor inconvenience as possible. Roughly per the latest data, approximately 10% of the schedule has been impacted across recent days, and that is thanks to the inspection on 25 aircraft at the moment. Spirit does have 194 aircraft in service, and it is definitely transitioning to that new engine option, that part of the A320neo family. Spirit says the intention looking ahead is to make its fleet even more fuel efficient with these planes being delivered in the future. And while we don't know a whole lot about the inspections taking place, the A320neo, among other Airbus-produced aircraft, have been put under the microscope following issues with engines hitting carriers right around the globe. Switching focus back to Alaska Airlines, well, in their third quarter results, they announced a route expansion within the United States, or should I say route expansions, as there are multiple new services coming. Alaska announced the longest flight in its network to debut in 2024, which will be Anchorage to New York JFK. Coming in at 3,386 miles, the route will be served by a 737-8 aircraft, which is part of the MAX series. This variant remains undelivered, but once it is, it will have the longest range capabilities within the fleet, making this route and much more in the future possible. Alaska says the addition of the 737-8, which again is slated to be from early 2024, will certainly be essential towards allowing the airline to operate towards locations that are further away. Anchorage to New York will operate daily from June 13th, 2024 to August 19th, 2024. The flight from Anchorage to New York JFK will be a red-eye as it departs Anchorage at 8 p.m. and arrives into New York at 7 a.m. before departing that same day and getting back into Alaska at 1:30 p.m. Alongside the Anchorage to New York JFK flight, Alaska says it'll fly towards San Diego from Anchorage too. The flight will be operated by its 737, will run on Saturdays from May 18th to August 17th, 2024. Alaska Airlines notes the service will depart at 2:50 before closing in on San Diego at 9:10 p.m. After an overnight stay, it will depart that following morning. Alaska is expanding its presence significantly thanks to the addition of San Diego and New York JFK from Anchorage to its route network. Next summer, it will offer 14 non-stop destinations to and from Anchorage to the lower 48 and also Hawaii. Major cities that are slated to be served include your Chicago, Denver, Honolulu, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, New York, Phoenix, Portland, and this is to just name a few. Over at United Airlines, well, they've enjoyed record-breaking international performance for the third quarter with also strong domestic demand. However, the major US carrier has warned that the current operating climate could negatively impact its fourth quarter performance. United Airlines says its fourth quarter will be impacted thanks to rising fuel costs. Additionally, with conflict resulting in a suspension of flights towards Tel Aviv, while their performance is set to hurt. Fuel costs are expected to average $3.28 per gallon. This is up 11% from the third quarter. Airlines worldwide, including major US-based companies, have suspended flights towards Israel. However, United Airlines services to Israel were much more vital than those of other companies within the United States. United served Tel Aviv from San Francisco, Newark, and Washington, D.C. on a regular day, before it axed all flights thanks to the escalating tensions and unsafe environment. As a result, the expectation is that United Airlines will be hurt because of this. Their quarterly pre-tax income came in at USD 1.5 billion and quarterly operating profit at 1.7 billion. This did represent a 19% improvement for the same period in 2022. With USD 15 billion in operating revenues, United increased overall capacity with a 16% rise. Load factors came in at 86%, 1 percentage point down from 1 year prior in the same period. That is going to conclude today's aviation news recap. Again, my apologies if I do sound a little bit flat. I did want to ensure that you weren't going to go 2 days without a video, so hopefully you don't mind my voice not being the most energetic, if you will, but trust me, I do really appreciate the support and appreciate you still tuning in. Thanks a lot, take care, and please do be safe. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow at the same time for more coverage on our aviation industry. And we'll fly.